I can't believe we're here. I probably should have taken a cold shower before making this video. I was just in the garden preparing the land to transplant tomatoes, and I'm super hot, but I have this really nice kombucha. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I am making this video. I literally never thought in this lifetime that I would ever be making this video. And the reason I am, there's so many reasons, but for one, I haven't told anyone that I am no longer vegan. Yes, it's true. I don't fit under that label or umbrella anymore. And I'll be sharing in this video how I feel about that. I haven't told my family. The only person that knows is obviously my partner who I live with. I called my best friend and told him because he was inspired to go vegan because of me, and he recently no longer considers himself vegan anymore, even though he went in a completely opposite direction from veganism, and I have not. Really wanted to make this video because I don't want to tell the same story a million times. I'd rather just make it here for my friends, close friends and family who watch my YouTube channel. And some of you, I don't know, might not even know I'm vegan, but I started this channel sharing vegan plant-based recipes. Some of you might have even been inspired to go vegan because of me. I know a few of you who watch who either turned vegan and then came across my channel and were inspired, or some of you did go vegan because of me. So I know this video is going to trigger people in different ways. Some of you just might not give a about what I'm eating or how I'm living my lifestyle on that level. So yeah, I'm just gonna share the truth of my journey to where I'm at now. And I might not be where you're thinking I could be now. I'm not vegan anymore, but my life isn't that much different. Yet it feels so weird still and unnatural and even wrong sometimes to say that I'm not vegan, because I was for over 5 years. And I think when you're a minority, like when you're in a room full of people, you're more than likely the only vegan, unless you're doing some type of activism or having, you know, a cooking party with your vegan friends. But you just get so used to that, and it being a huge aspect of your life at least 3 times a day, something you're thinking about, telling people about, and getting their feedback or reactions about, standing for a cause, you know, to protect nature and animals and for whatever reasons. And so it's very strange to break out of this label and habit, but at the same time it feels really, really, really good. Towards the end of this video, I'll share with you where I'm at now, but first I'm just gonna share how I got there first. I've been thinking about this for the last year more. Even a few years ago, I wasn't convinced about the health side of veganism so much. There's a lot of studies out there pushed by the vegan community about meat being linked to disease and cancer. I remember reading a book that said when you put a cancerous tumor in a petri dish and you add animal protein to it, it grows, which that's in a petri dish, it's not in a body. There's a lot of factors missing with that study. And I also really knew early on that, like, when you say things are linked to disease, it's very difficult to prove because there's a lot of factors in diets, like how much processed food you're eating. Obviously processed meats are bad for you, that's very well proven. But I really don't want to get into all those things. I just want to share that I haven't been vegan for the last like 4 years out of my 5 years because of the health aspect. But I will say that I have had amazing results physically and mentally from being vegan. I really struggled with chronic fatigue for all of my life. I remember just requiring a lot more sleep than most people from a young age. And since I cut meat out of my diet and dairy and eggs, I definitely have a lot more energy, and yeah, I just don't require as much rest. And I don't feel chronically fatigued like I think I did for a long time. But I have always been doing it for the animals. The other stuff was just a bonus, the things you learn about, you know, the animal agriculture industry, just how horrible the treatment is towards animals, the treatments towards humans, the treatment towards the earth. It was just all kind of like a bonus, right? But when I really started thinking about veganism, I'm not going to get into how or when I went into veganism because I don't want this video to be that long. There's just a few key things I want to share. I was a big activist in my first year, I'd say. Like, my social media was sharing all these facts and myths, probably you could say, some of which are true. There's a lot of vegan propaganda out there. And I saw that earlier on too, but I was just like, whatever, it's not a reason to like not be vegan or not believe everything. But I really just didn't like that, how people would run with things and over exaggerate things. And especially since I've been living on a farm, I have seen the truth about a lot of narratives that are pushed by vegan science or the vegan community, and they're not true. For example, for the last year, I have had on my mind a very specific food because I live on a farm where my boyfriend is not vegan. He cannot stand actually the term and the type of people who usually are under that label, which has been really difficult for us in our relationship. But honestly, I was used to it being vegan for so long, people not agreeing with my belief systems. It's taught me a lot on how to like compromise with someone over other foundational things because I believe in a lot of good that my partner is doing when it comes to permaculture and his farm and things like that. And if you are gonna eat meat, he does it the right way, if there is a right way. So that's like another thing, is like there's so many things that still play in my mind. Like, I always thought I was gonna be vegan for the rest of my life, and when someone says they're not anymore, you're like, you never were. And I felt that way too. Like, I get it. Some of you are looking at me like, you were never vegan because I say that I'm not anymore. Let me explain a little bit where I'm at, because I don't feel like a normal person who's like stopped being vegan. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to stop is because I am tired of being under the label, because of how governments and wealthy people across the world who are controlling a lot of the things that we do, how they're using this narrative to make people less autonomous with food and to fit, you know, their agenda towards more control. That's like a whole, you know, another topic and conspiracy. But I'm seeing that happen a lot, you know, with like the eating the bugs being pushed and doing a lot of things in the name of saving the earth. And I don't agree with the direction that that's going in. And that's the biggest reason why I want to not call myself vegan anymore, because I do not want to be associated with that agenda and trajectory of things. It feels really freeing to let go of it for that reason. Simon really hates vegans because a lot of them come here and will try preaching to him about, you know, eating animals, and Simon gets frustrated because it's like he knows they're going back to their home city, home country, and shopping at supermarkets and buying processed foods and clothes and things that are extremely harmful to the earth, to themselves. There's a lot of hypocrisy. And veganism, it appears to be like the end all, that you're not eating animals. Like, that's the best first thing that they can do, and that's what I really believe for a long time. Like, you can control what's on your plate 3 times a day. That's like where you can start. But there's so much more to it than being vegan. And I've learned that a lot since I've gotten more experience with permaculture and living in farms and Bolivia and other countries where I've also experienced the countryside way of life and just connected with growing my own food more, and also where I'm purchasing things. Like, it's all very relevant. So the level of veganism that I was at, you know, I haven't bought leather in so long. Like, I would buy synthetic type of shoes or secondhand shoes if there was some leather on it, like belts. You know, I didn't eat honey. I had honey one time because I was doing a project in the jungle here in Bolivia with a honey farm that it was really small, and they helped the population of the bees and were super gentle and made sure the bees had plenty of honey. They didn't forcibly inseminate the queen or clip her wings, anything like that. So I was really hardcore and strict about it. We have a lot of birds on our farm. We have turkeys, chickens, and ducks, and they produce a lot of eggs. And all of our volunteers and Simon, you know, were eating them a lot and really enjoying them. And I was thinking for a long time about this egg situation, because I remember hearing early on in my vegan journey, when you take an egg from a bird, from its nest, it sends a signal to their body to produce another one. And it takes a lot of nutrients, a lot of energy to produce that egg. So by taking their eggs, you're forcing them to produce more, and it shortens their life and just, you know, makes them really, really weak. And I found this to not be true. Like, sure, it does take a lot of energy to produce an egg, but all the farms I've stayed at, all the birds that we have had, whether we take their eggs or not, birds produce eggs like crazy. And I even stayed at a vegan farm where this woman had chickens, and her chickens produced so many eggs, and she literally gave them away or sold them because she was vegan. Here, we, like, sometimes our birds free range completely. Most of the time we try to keep them within a closed off area because they attack our garden. When they are free ranging, a few weeks ago, we found this nest that had been abandoned by one of our chickens of like 25 eggs that were just sitting there. And I was just like, yeah, I figured out, you know, over the last couple of years that it wasn't true that what I was told about eggs. But you know, I will say that once you are vegan and you have this flip of a switch of a belief, you don't really see things that come from animals as being for you. Like things that are coming directly for them, like their milk or what they're being bred to produce. Like, you just don't really want to have anything to do with it. Like, you think that's for them, like honey's for the bees, you know? But when I really think about it, like just about everything in nature was contributed by insects and animals in some way to produce food and medicine for us. So I don't think that's like a black and white area. But recently, one of the biggest things that has pushed me to no longer being vegan, I wanted to go get my B12 levels checked because I stopped taking vitamins at all a couple of years ago. And it's just really hard to get good quality vitamins in Bolivia. And I was able to get some from the States here actually, and started taking them recently. And I felt horrible. Like, I would get these like heart murmurs and like shakes every once in a while, like not all the time, but a little bit each day, and kind of like feeling weird in my head. Before I actually started taking these, I went and got tested for my B12 levels because I just wanted to see if I was naturally getting it from our plants and from our like root vegetables in our soil, because we have really healthy soil. It's obviously not healthy enough because Simon's only been working on the soil for a few years trying to get it back to its health and restore it. But I was really hoping somehow I was getting B12 in my diet, just like magically. And I went and got tested, and I was super low. I was within the spectrum depending on what lab you go to, but most labs I'm like at the very bottom of it. And B12 is an extremely important nutrient. Neurological problems if you don't consume enough of it. And it's usually supplemented in like animal feed and things like that, but also cow stomachs can produce it. When I saw that, I was just kind of like, man, like, and I started taking vitamins again. And the reason I took such a long break from taking vitamins was because they made me feel horrible. And I didn't really realize it until I stopped taking them. And you know, I've like changed brands multiple times. I would supplement for like vitamin D and B12. And I think I stopped taking aminos a long time ago. But primarily those two things, maybe some vitamin C, vitamin K. And I took a lot more supplements when I wasn't vegan, actually, because I was really into the gym and being healthy when it came to like muscle growth. And so I'm on this like egg journey, and then recognizing that I was low on B12, and I listened to a podcast from a girl who I've been watching for a lot of years, and she coincidentally just stopped being vegan and started eating eggs. And I was like, holy crap. Like, that day I went and talked to Simon, my partner, and was like, I think I'm going to eat eggs, and I think I want to break up with veganism. What? He was stoked, obviously. So I got a duck egg because these eggs people just rave about. You either love them or you hate them. And I soft boiled it and put it in front of my face, and it was super difficult at first to eat it because my mind is just like telling me, no, 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 this is wrong, this is wrong. That's what I've been training myself for so long, and believing, truly believing that it was just harmful in so many levels. I haven't even peeled an egg in
Put some salt and pepper on it. Yeah, you might want to. You could use the spoon or something. Okay. Bon appetit. Delicious. Best.
I don't know if I want to. You go first. It's like jumping into cold water. Oh God. Okay.
Jelly.
Really good. Wow.
What you been missing?
I don't remember chicken eggs tasting this good.
Put a little bit more salt on it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks, babe. Proud of me? Life goes on. The reason I decided to consume eggs is because they contain a lot of vitamin B12 and vitamin D, amongst other things. And for me, it felt right to get those nutrients more from a direct and natural source rather than a supplement that has gone through heavy processing. And also because those eggs are already, you know, being produced like crazy where we live. You know, I've seen vegan farms with chickens, non-vegan farms with chickens. They help a lot in production of vegetables, and you can let them live. Even though my boyfriend doesn't let them live, he likes to eat them. So where I am at right now, I am not under any label, and that feels really good. I do not want to call myself vegetarian. I am not drinking milk. I'm not eating cheese. What feels really good is I've had something that I've had some honey that was left here by a volunteer, and I didn't know where that honey came from. But like things that are sitting off to the side that I know are just gonna go waste or be thrown away. Whenever I was vegan, I didn't feel comfortable getting anywhere near that stuff. Like I was in this box of rules where I just didn't want to support, touch, even if I'm not supporting it by eating it, it was just mental block, you know? I've had a bite of something that had butter in it just to try it. Yeah, which feels really good to do. I'm not in a place where I feel comfortable consuming any of those products or purchasing them somewhere. So I'm just eating eggs from our chickens, ducks, and turkeys. And I'll also buy them in Miske because I know that they're from Miske. All of our eggs in this area come from small farms. I will not eat eggs from a supermarket, even a place that claims that they're farm eggs at a supermarket. I don't really know how much I believe about the well-being of those chickens. So I still really have this like vegan way of thinking for sure, which to some of you might be annoying, especially some of my family who just wishes I probably wasn't vegan, and Simon as well. But how I'm evolving spiritually is I want to continue to practice Ahimsa, causing the least amount of harm as I can. Yeah, just being a conscious consumer on all levels. And this is where I'm at right now. I don't plan on ever eating meat. I still don't feel okay with all of our neighbors have cows and make their own cheese and milk, and I see the way that they treat their cows, and it's okay, you know, like the cows live pretty good lives, but they just look like bred animals that are really uncomfortable. So anyways, I don't need to get into every detail about what I believe because plenty of you could have opinions on that. Maybe most of you don't care. I just want to do better, and I want to evolve, and I want to treat my body well. As far as how my body feels, so this was a month ago when I had my first egg. I've eaten eggs every day since then. Because I used to eat eggs all the time before I was vegan. It was a huge part of my diet growing up in a bodybuilder family. I used to eat only egg whites though. And I never bought the cartons that were just egg whites. Like I would make them myself and then throw away the yolk. Super wasteful. But I eat the whole egg now because it's just delicious, especially coming fresh from our farm birds. And I will say I don't feel any different. Like I don't feel I thought I would feel stronger. Like I've been really physically active lately. I thought I'd put on a lot more muscle. or more weight because it's a lot more calories and protein. I really haven't noticed a difference in that. My face is breaking out, and which is interesting. Gosh, this video is long, I'm sorry. Because when I first went vegan, I had this rash start around my chin, and it was there for 6 months. And I went through every food in my diet trying to cut it out, figure out what was causing it. Nothing was working. And so what it came down to was me assuming that I was just detoxing from like animal products or something. And what's interesting now is I'm eating eggs again, and this rash is coming back. So, you know, like, I'm not convinced that, you know, eggs are great for you in excess, just like anything. I have been having a couple of eggs a day, and this rash would probably slow down if I had eggs once every couple days. There's some really beneficial, amazing nutrients in huevos, but I also, in my own theory, there's also some bad stuff in it, you know? So moderation, but at least I know I'm getting my B12 from this direct natural source, you know, or the best source that I possibly can, because there's just things with B12 that we can't get here or grow that I would like to, like certain mushrooms. As you can see in here is I'm still very much about growing your own food, buying from local farms, purchasing things in a sustainable way, food or not. None of us are perfect. It's impossible to be. I think those who are trying to be better aren't necessarily trying to be perfect. It's just the more that you love this planet and creation, yourself and others, the better you naturally want to treat it and cause less harm to all beings, you know? But I do find that since I've broken up with this label, I'm able to have a lot more grace for people, even though I might not quite understand. Like last night, I was literally, some of you are not gonna like to hear this, I was literally kind of cheering on one of our volunteers who killed his own chicken, the first animal he's ever killed before, and processed it. And the reason he killed the chicken is because she was eating her own eggs, and it was a really, really big problem. We couldn't have sold her. Obviously, we weren't getting eggs from her. And, you know, unfortunately with these farm animals, they serve a purpose. That's why Simon has them, you know? And she was also encouraging other birds to eat their own eggs, which is a humongous problem. So he got to process that bird, and I was sitting there like, this is important. Like, if you are French and you love meat or you love cheese, you need to understand the process of that getting to your plate, so you can make a decision for yourself if your beliefs within your heart are in alignment with those actions. You know, we've had volunteers who can't kill an animal, who don't want to kill an animal, and you kind of have to question, like, okay, are you living in alignment with what you truly believe, you know, with your own morals? But a lot less judgment from this side now, and it feels really good to not be in a box, not promote the agendas that are wanting to use veganism to gain more control over people, make people less or more dependent, and create more transgenic foods. So yeah, I'm no longer vegan. I would ask that you are kind in the comment section. I mean, I don't know how many of you are gonna see this video or give a shit about this video, but yeah, fam. So when I go to Texas, I want to find me a duck or a bird farm nearby so I can have some eggs when I'm visiting Texas for Christmas for 3 weeks. I'm telling you, mom and dad, let's go find a farm, or I can start you chickens in your backyard. I think that's all for this video. I really hope that I am not disappointing any of you here. Know that, you know, my heart is in a really good place and a really confident place, and my body feels very healthy, trying to get that B12 back up, and yeah, just be more intuitive. And I encourage you to also be more intuitive with your body. And I'll see you guys in the next video. It's windy outside. I gotta go.